Hi, everyone. On today's episode, I want to have a conversation, and it's kind of hard because we're not having a conversation, but I want to have a conversation and just really discussion and normalization of struggling with your body image, especially when it is so normal to either run a business online or just to be in today's society where everyone sees all of your business all of the time. This just has been on my heart for a little bit, and I've coached some clients recently on it. So I thought, what? If they're struggling through it, I know other women are too. And I know just being a woman, people will struggle with it. And honestly, just anyone, everyone struggles with body image. I don't think anyone's immune from it. I don't think the way your body looks makes you immune from it. I have coached anyone and everyone under the sun on body image. And so let's just talk about it a little bit today. The reason I first thought of this episode is because I had someone who is in my audacious course all around, becoming unrecognizably confident. She brought a body image topic to one of our calls. And what she was really saying was like, I've been doing my work in my business and I've been noticing as I record myself how terrible I think I look. So not only have I just not posted it, but now I feel really shitty and I feel like I'm never going to be able to succeed because I don't look a certain way. So I had received that. And then today in Unlimited, in my group program that's a year long for female founders ready to build the skills to create unrealistic success in and out of their business, we had another conversation about body image. And one of my clients was just feeling so down on herself and so shameful around how did she let her body get like this and all of the things. And so I just think it's a conversation that needs to be normalized. So let's just start off with talking about it. And again, just I'm going to say this so many times, but I want to name how normal it is to have thoughts about your body. I just want to give a space for you just for a couple minutes where you can feel less alone in this feeling because I often think when we have thoughts around our body, it's a very isolating thing. We feel very isolated, we feel very alone. We feel like it's just us and our body and us fighting our bodies. And I just want to name that other people are going through it too. That doesn't make it any better, but that it doesn't mean you don't have to show up. It doesn't mean that you can't have what you want. It doesn't mean you're any less. And when I was coaching my clients, one of the things that I had brought up, and actually, let me say this too. I have struggled with my body for years. I battled my body for years. The anecdote that I had told my clients was that I remember my mom, actually, to just start you off, my mom won't let me touch her phone. Nowadays, if I touch her phone, specifically if I go to the Photos app on her phone, she freaks out and wants to grab her phone from me. And she's very justified in that because when I was younger and I was insecure and I struggled with my body and I hated how I looked and I thought no inch of me was good enough, what I used to do was I used to go in her phone and delete photos of me. And this literally makes me want to cry thinking about how young I was when I was doing that. But she literally, even now that I'm confident, even now that any photo goes and I'm fine posting the most embarrassing photos of me on the internet, she still is afraid of that. And I remember looking at so many photos and I'll even scroll through my own phone, look through old photos and specifically remember my thoughts in that instance where I thought, I thought it looked so bad. I thought it needed to be deleted. I never wanted anyone to see it. I would look at how big I thought my arms looked, or I'd look at my hips, or I'd look at my hair looked flat. I would criticize every fucking inch of myself. And when I look on those photos now where I specifically remember that happening, I look back and I think, God, I wish you saw how pretty you were. I wish you saw how much you shine. I wish you let yourself live more and be happier because you look great. You looked fine. There was nothing wrong. Like, there was literally nothing wrong with me. And I was convinced that I was ugly and I was convinced that I was disgusting. I convinced that I wasn't good enough. I just never deserved any of that. And I know so many of my clients who I talk to who they're confident bitches. Like they have their shit together. They are so impressive. They're so successful. They inspire people around them, but they still have these very silent struggles from time to time with their body, with how they look, with thinking like, God, you look so bad. And I know they don't want to struggle anymore. And so one of the things that we talked about today was this idea of like, if you've gone through that, how do you make the switch from not carrying that behavior of hating your body with you when it feels so natural, when it feels so normalized? Just talking through of like I had to make a decision that I didn't deserve to feel like that. I can look back on those photos and be like, God, that version of me was so fucking cool. She was so worthy. She was so amazing. And she was so mean to herself too. And that I want you to sit with right now. If you struggle with your body, sit with, you don't have to feel like that anymore. It does not matter what shape your body is. It does not matter what's on your body. It does not matter what you have going on. You don't deserve to be an asshole to yourself about your body. And every single version of your body that has ever existed is equally fucking worthy, is equally beautiful. Now, some might be healthier than others, but every single version is lovable. Some versions might not feel as recognizable, you might not identify with as much, but they're still fucking amazing. They're still so beautiful. They're still so great. I think everyone deserves to feel that, and I think it's hard to get there. And one of the conversations that we had today in Unlimited specifically was we talk a lot about when it comes to our businesses, this idea of loving the hell out of wherever you are and loving the struggles and setback and all the challenges that you're currently facing, because one day they're going to be gone. One day you're going to have much bigger problems and you're going to be like, God, that was such a good time. I had so much fun and all these things. Like, you're going to look back because it's inevitable that you grow. It is inevitable that you grow, that you get where you want to go. And so love where you are now. Have faith in it. Love every challenge that you have, because you're going to look back so fondly on it at one point in time. And again, we talk about it in relation to our businesses, but today we talked about that in relation to our body. Like, I already, as I said, look back and think, God, I was so great. I was so, whatever. And I was just the best fucking version of myself then, just as I am now. And I deserved the love. That version of my body, it was never as shameful or disgusting or as bad as I thought it was. And it never deserved that. And I think similar to the business thing of like, one day you're going to look back. I decided that I didn't want to keep looking back on old photos years later just to realize that I was lovable and worthy and fine and beautiful. And one day, hopefully, our bodies get older and wrinkly and, we age, we grow up, we have more life that we've lived. And I never want any of my clients to look back and be like, God, I was so young then. Like, I was so mean to myself and I was so lovable. Like, I want that cycle to stop. And you deserve for that cycle to stop. And one of my clients and I talked about, okay, what do we have to do? And we have a lot of conversations in Audacious about this, where Audacious is all about changing how you feel about yourself and becoming unrecognizably confident, whether you're really down in the dumps about yourself or you're already a confident bad bitch, just becoming that much more unrecognizably confident in the process to do that. So we have a lot of these conversations. And one of the conversations being had in there is, how do we actually change how we feel about our body right now without our body changing? And I think it happens in small shifts, because what we are so conditioned into doing as women is trying to make radical changes to our body at any given point in time. In a certain part of a decade, you're trying to get as small as possible, and then a couple years later, the trends shift, and now you want thick thighs. And we're always trying to make these radical changes to keep up with what we think we should look like, and it's awful. It's tiring. And the thing is, it's like, we don't need to change our bodies. We need to change the way we think about our bodies. And we don't need radical change like we keep doing. We need small shifts. And so changing the way you feel about your body. And again, I want to just preface, I'm not a mental health professional with this. It's just based off my own experience, my own confidence. I'm not specialized in anything body image. Everyone should probably know that. I just want to state it, but this is just my experience. So if you need more help, absolutely get more help, because you deserve to love your body. But what I have found works for myself and for my clients who want me to help them with it is that small shifts in your perspective about your body is the best way to love your body. And whether it's love it to more health, love it for how it is, it doesn't matter. Small shifts in your perspective. And the way that I start, like, truly, you guys, the way that I started my journey from honestly eating disorders and really just fucking struggling with my body and battling it, to being so fucking cool with I love my body. It's great. And that was a long journey, but I'll say it started with the smallest shifts in perspective. So instead of looking in the mirror and thinking, God, you look so bad and you're not good enough and you're ugly or you're disgusting, was looking at myself and being like, all right, All right. And obviously take take the tone that's natural for you. I'm a little sarcastic with myself, but I would look in the mirror and be like, "All right, it's not true that you're disgusting." Like that's a little, that's a little dramatic and a little too subjective. It is not true that you're disgusting, Mackenzie. And even as I say that right now, like I can feel my shoulders roll back. I can feel the ease kind of come in because it just gave me permission to be slightly fucking nicer to myself. It just gave me the littlest bit of permission to enter in a little bit of compassion. And I could get my brain behind that small shift of, okay, it's not true you're disgusting. Like, that's not true. That small shift did so much for me. And then when I could get on board with, all right, it's not true that you're disgusting, then I could go to your bloated stomach it's not the end of the world. It happens to other people. Like other people are bloated too. It's not the phenomenon that only happens to Mackenzie. And then I would shift it to, oh, okay, like, well, I like, instead of looking in the mirror and being like, oh, you're so, whatever, I would be like, okay, you know what? I really like my teeth. And I always have. I like my teeth. I've gone through so much dental work to get here. I don't know why I feel the need to tell you this. 2 sets of braces, 4 sets of spacers. I have a retainer that I've literally worn every single night since I was probably like 11. So trust me, I have a lot of work to go into my teeth. So I've been able to easily be like, okay, I like my teeth. I used to have a really big gap in my teeth. And you know what? Honestly, if I had that today, I would learn to love it too. But I just put in the work for my teeth. Okay. So I would switch to that. And then I would try and get a little kinder of like, all right, you know what? Your arms aren't so bad. I know you've battled them for a long time, but they're fine. They're fine. And that would just keep gradually, and I'm gonna be so clear here, gradually evolving with things that I could get my brain, my nervous system behind around my body until it's morphed into what it is today. And I told my clients, I have instances where I will look at my body and be like, that's a little unrecognizable, but you know what? But instead of battling my body, shaming my body, I'll go to like, it might be unrecognizable, but like, I love this version too. This version is just as hot and desirable and sexy in a slightly different way, but like, I love it and it's great. And it's my body. It's the place I'm always going to live. So I'm going to think it's cool as fuck. And also, the thing about gradual change is that people want to resist it. We want radical shifts because we want it to happen fast. But when you cannot get your nervous system, your brain behind radical shifts, what will happen is that you'll try and jump up to that radical shift, whether it's a habit change or whether it's a mindset change. And when it's not believable, when it's not sustainable, you'll fall right back to where you were, or worse, you'll fall lower. Gradual shifts like that, where you just get a little more believable as your nervous system and your brain allows you to. Sure, it might be a gradual shift, but you know what happens? You grow so much faster. We so often associate gradual with slow, but I promise that's why my clients grow so fast. It's why I grow so fast. It's why their confidence skyrockets. It's because we're making the gradual shifts and they skyrocket off because of it, because it's sustainable, because it's believable. So I want you to listen to this episode and try this out. And I just want to reiterate, so many other women listening to this with you, listening at the same time as you, listening while you walk and they're walking too, listening to this, they're also struggling. You're not alone in this. And I think taking the mentality of deciding deciding that you don't deserve to feel like you can look back years and be like, God, I battled for so long and I wish I didn't. You can decide to change that now. And it's going to happen through those gradual shifts. And I've noticed too, even just recently when I've decided to grow even more in this area with myself, is I'm not cold turkey cutting this, let's be real. But I've really stopped using filters on my stories. I don't use them as much. I'd rather own who I am more and more, the wrinkles, the underbag eyes and all. And my underbag eyes can really convince someone that I'm a vampire, but I just want to own it. Like literally who the fuck cares? And I've actually made this decision just so intentionally, just wanting to show other women like it's okay to look how you look. It doesn't mean I'll never use a filter. Don't hold that against me. Let me have my filters. But it's just so much more about not how I look, and I just want to show that it's okay. And another decision that I've recently made is I just desire to document so much more of my life. Like I don't want to let it pass by. I don't want to feel like I'm looking back and be like, God, I wish I was happier, or I wish I saw more of it or experienced more. Like even just shifting how I feel about my body has me documenting things more. And I just love that. And I just want you to be able to have that same, I want you to be able to Put yourself out there as much as you want. I want you to be able to go after every single thing you want. I want you to be able to go all in. I want you to look at yourself in the mirror and think, I'm so beautiful. I am so desirable. I am so lovable. I'm so cool. I'm glad to be me. I'm glad to look like this. I am glad that I am myself. And I think every single person listening deserves that. And I really think that what I've said on this episode will help you get there. And a conversation that people, I just want to add this into a conversation people have very much brought up with me is pretty privilege. And sure, yes, I'm not even going to debate that. There's so many studies on that. That's a real thing. But I've always shown my clients what is going to weigh out more than how society views your body or views you or anything external is however you carry yourself, your charisma, your confidence, your certainty, that's always going to outweigh everything. Like if you can just own who you are and own your body, no matter what shape or size or what it looks like, and love yourself anyway, you will become so much more powerful. You will become so much more able to create what you want, despite what society says, despite what society has conditioned you into. And just really owning that you deserve to feel good in your body. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to love it, and it deserves to be loved by you, and really just owning that how we feel about our bodies can change, that we can change how we feel about it, even if our body never changes, although it will with aging. And just own that you are special, you're lovable, and you deserve to love on yourself now. So hopefully this conversation just helped you feel a little more normalized, helped you see a path to be kinder to your body and really just let yourself go all in on whatever it is you want and not let your body image hold you back. I hope it helped a little bit. I'm always here to talk about it. My DMs are open on Instagram if you ever want to talk to me about it. Just know we're all going through this together as women. So I love you. You're beautiful. And I hope this episode helped.